Morning, y'all. Happy Monday. So, like we've talked before, I bring it up a lot about like how, a lot of us, we're not taught how to date. A lot of us just kind of attached. A lot of us didn't even realize that you was moving too fast, or by the time you realized you was moving too fast, you was already in too deep. So, I want to talk about something real quick. So, what I've noticed from my own personal experience, as well as like the stories that I be reading on like the T app and Don't Date Them LA and all of that stuff, right? What I've noticed is a lot of us truly have not taken the necessary time to get to know the person that we're coupling with. The mistake that I personally made, and I said it in another video, was I would always go for somebody that was already around me or that I had known for a period of time because they were comfortable. If you guys go back on my page, there's a video where I am responding to someone that said that their husband felt like home to them, but when they switched up, the husband like started to treat them the same way that their mother used to. If you are a child of an emotionally immature parent, if you are a child of a narcissistic parent, of an abusive parent, pretty much if you had anything but a healthy parent, if you had anything modeled to you outside of healthy love, you have to understand that when somebody feels comfortable to you, baby, that is a red flag. If somebody feels like home to you, that is a red flag. Because home for us was abusive. Home for us was neglectful. Home for us was toxic. Home for us was chaotic. Home for us was anxiety inducing. You didn't know what you was going to get from day to day. Home for us, I know at 35 years old, there are still times where I have to remind myself, baby, we are grown. We can't get in trouble with nobody. That anxiety of like you're done with everything that you need to do for the day and you just sat down. And you have your whole life been gaslit into you supposed to be doing more, so you looking for shit to do. I remember um, when me and my ex was together, when he would come through the door, I felt like I needed to hop up and look like I was doing something. And it wasn't even nothing he did. I had to realize that came from my parents. And it was the same thing with him. He would have an off day and be like, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something. And it's just like, no, this is your off day. But it's because of how, we were all raised. What I've been doing, as far as like just dating and getting to know people, has been anytime that like I'm immediately attracted to something, to me, I take that as a no. No. Because I clearly have a type. And normally, so what I've been doing too is like I'll go and look on like the T app, for instance, right? And I'll look up maybe somebody that I matched with. And 9 times out of 10, it'll be the person that I passed up that'll show up on there, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to rewire my brain. It's working. I don't remember if I said, I'm sure I did because I've talked about it before, but for me personally, every relationship that I have been in has moved at like lightning speed, to the point where I have to remind myself when things are not progressing the way that I think that they're supposed to progress. I have to remind myself like this is normal. The beautiful thing about healing my anxious avoidant attachment has been to understand and realize like, okay, people have lives. It's okay to not talk to somebody every day. I told you guys how like ever since I started working on myself, how, just outside in general, just everybody I've come in contact with has been sweet to me. But I think it's also because I'm just not operating on a certain frequency anymore. Like it's a way that people speak to me when they come and talk to me that they never have before. And I think a lot of that also has to do with the fact that I'm comfortable in my own skin now. But I'll see something and it'll be like, oh, I met this guy on this app and, we went on 4 dates and then we slept together. Why? Why did you do that? And this is not to judge, baby, because I tell anybody I'd have been stupid before, okay? I'd have been real slow before. So the last thing we do up on this page is judge. But I bring that up to just say that You'll go and talk to somebody and you'll be like, oh, I've known this person since I was 13. But do you really know them? Have you been in constant contact with them since you was 13? Or did you just meet them when you were 13? These are things that I had to work through with myself. And think about it this way. Half of us wouldn't do that with no homegirls. Be careful too of gaslighting yourself into certain situations. And I'm going to make a whole nother video on that because that deserves a video on its own. But a lot of the time we know better. That's why I always say the red flags was always there. Yes, there's certain things that we didn't know, but there are other things that we knew that if we would have paid attention to them instead of trying to gaslight ourselves out of them, we would have been long gone. We would have saved ourselves so much trouble. And that goes back to me talking about, we have to be honest with ourselves. Accountability sometimes is not always what you did to somebody else, but what you did to yourself, how you betrayed yourself. Accountability is saying, I knew that this situation was going to be this, but I decided to do this anyway, so I can't even be mad that it ended up here. Accountability is saying, you know what, I had been single for so long that I was lonely, and I should have went with my first mind, but I let my flesh control me. I see a lot of people in my comments when I tell my story times and stuff, and they get to talking about theirs, and it all sounds the same as mine. You didn't take enough time to get to know this person. You thought you did. Oh, but I knew him for 6 months, but did you really know him? And did you truly know him for those 6 months, or did you only know his parts? Because for some people can play their representative so damn well that you might not even really see the real them for a year, 2 years, 3 years. But you already hunching them. This is why when y'all get in my comments and be like, what do you have any suggestions, or how did you do this and that, baby, go see the lady. I know it sounds funny when I say it, but dead ass, go see the lady. Because the lady is going to help you unpack all of that shit. It took me 34 years to realize that I had been chasing my mother my entire life. 34 years. You don't just wake up one day and go, oh shit. No, it doesn't work like that. I've been in survival mode my entire life. This year is the first year where I am not in survival mode. I'm not having to protect myself from somebody. I'm not worried about if somebody's going to scream at me or yell at me or get in my face or disrespect me. Baby, listen. Even the person that I have to co-parent with, when he get a little, when he get a little rah-rah, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. This is the first time where I'm not dumbing myself down or making myself small to be accepted by somebody. This is the first time where I am doing things and following my first mind and my intuition, learning to trust my intuition again and listen to my inner voice. This is the first time in 35 years. It took me 34 years to get here. Literally, I just do random shit where, like, I'll get a thought in my head and they be like, you should turn left. I don't even question it. I just turn left. Because I've been ignoring my intuition and gaslighting myself out of what my first mind already knew for so long. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to make another video. So we're going to talk about, I'll get back.